welcome to the Later Bloomer, where we celebrate the glorious redos, fresh starts, and second acts of life, especially for those of us over 50. I'm Victoria, and today's guest is one of those inspiring women you just want to sit and talk to for hours. She's from the USA. Treva, we're going to have to talk about where exactly, because I'm all the way here in the UK. And I just love hearing how different life feels across the pond. But more than that, Treva is a woman who has turned deep grief into deep connection. She's the founder of a beautiful movement called Lending Our Shared Stories, which supports those navigating loss, and I can't wait to hear all about it. She also is a creative force behind lossevents.org, which we will hear about, the heart of her grief support work. And she's leading a fabulous TikTok movement for women over 50. Yes, you heard that right. Midlife and TikTok. She's making it a vibe, just like us. Oh, and did I mention she's also a children's author? So grab a cup of something warm and let's dive into this conversation full of courage, creativity, and incredible reinvention with the one and only Treva. Whereabouts in the USA are you?
Oh, I am in little past Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Because I knew there was 6 hours. I thought there was 5 hours, but you're Central Time, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
When I saw it and I went to the 5 hours, I thought, you know what? When I added it all up, I thought, this isn't correct. So I added it all up and I was, oh, anyway, don't worry about that. So listen, your background, tell me about your background and going into your 50s. And I want to know, the cross-cultural perspectives, and also you've gone into the grief sector, and I want to know all about that, if that's okay as well, if you don't mind going there.
Okay, absolutely. Well, again, thank you for having me. It is a great pleasure to be here.
I love having you.
Thank you so much. I'm Treva Gordon, everyone, and I am an author, a speaker. I have a TikTok account that's Women Over 50. That's how we met, Vicki.
And that's how we met.
Yes, and so I am in the fabulous 50s. And of course, in those 50s, there's menopause, there's lots of things. But you know what? We've got it, ladies. And we look amazing.
We will.
Yes, we got it. I'm enjoying my 50s. I feel so free. I had to enter my 50s. And I entered my 50s with gratitude.
I did too. So what were you like in your 40s? Because I had a lot of grief and I had a lot of sadness. I was in a place where I wasn't happy in my 40s due to sort of losing a business, and that was like grief. I just wasn't generally happy in my 40s. So when I went into my 50s, I was like, this is going to be my era now. What were you like in your 40s and going into your 50s then?
Well, in my 40s, I was still happily married and enjoying life. We were raising our children. And then in the middle of the road, grief and loss had happened. My spouse of 26 years, he decided to go home with the Lord. And I tell you, it was very grievous. But I thank God for God helping me through it, therapy. And also I started a support group as well as being a part of other support groups. So yes, in life, like yourself, like you said, it was hard. We've had challenges, and yes, we have. But that, I must admit, that was the hardest thing that I had to do. I had to learn to sleep alone, to do things alone, to go through life without him. I mean, he was my person. And so I was able, so as I went into the 50s with counseling and support, I really believe all of that is my happiness and joy as far as where I am now. I'll forever miss him, but
Yeah.
God has just given me a peace. Like, you got to keep going, you got to get up, you got to keep moving.
And
So
the
I just keep
children, you've
moving.
obviously got the children too to offer
Yes.
support and be there for them. So, you've got to carry on.
Yes, you do. And so that's something I would love to share with everyone. I believe that light bulb for a lot of people kicks in, but it may not. You have children were my motivation. Everyone does
Yeah.
not have that one thing that could motivate them. Maybe there are no pets, maybe there are no children. And so I would say, reach out to someone for help. If you're going through a broken relationship, divorce, if you're going through loss, experiencing that, reach out to someone and let them know, I need help. Don't go at it alone.
I agree.
Please don't go at it alone.
I agree. 100%. Ask for help. A lot of people I know, even my husband, he won't ask for help. It's like, I can do this on my own. I'm strong. And then eventually he'll tell me, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I could help.
Sometimes it's hard to ask for help. We're not conditioned, a lot of individuals, to, hey, I need help. But when you have no place to go and you're down, just remember my words, reach up and ask for help. Because what I found out, my friend, is that people aren't magicians and they can't read my mind. And they can't tell what I'm thinking. And I could be having the worst day, but sometimes if you don't say something, how will they know?
Yeah.
How will they know?
I agree 100%. So going into your 50s then, so you were like, okay, I'm going to grab this, all guns blazing. And then you started Grief. You've got basically a website, is that right?
Yes, I started in 2019. It was 6 months after my husband passed away. I did not know that I would be starting a support group, but it turned out that as I began to share my story of heartbreak and how broken that I was, people could relate. They said, I'm not going through loss of a spouse, but my parent has passed away, or a pet loss, or I've suffered a divorce, or a broken relationship, or I'm dealing with identity, and they just wanted to hang out with me, so to speak. And so we just started meeting. It started in meeting rooms and sharing our stories of grief and truth, which led to, getting up so that we can find comfort in one another's stories. So with that, we've been around. Lending Our Shared Stories has been around for 6 years, and we're now global and international, where we meet twice monthly on Zoom. So that information is loss-events.org. You can go there to the website to find out more information. We are a nonprofit 501c3, and we do it because I don't want to see anyone down. No. I want to find that way. How can we rise together?
Yeah.
Just like the menopause, I saw that we were going to talk about that. But it's just, as women, how can we support? How can we rise together? Because I don't believe you just get there to the top all by yourself. No. There was someone along the way that helped you. Oh, yeah.
I agree. And I praise that. That's just amazing. I praise the fact that you're all supporting each other and you're gaining more and more people, I presume. And I agree with you. When I lost my mother and then I lost my best friend, I can't tell you the devastation, just like you. I had a pain in my chest that I just couldn't relate. And I thought I was having heart attacks. So I kept going to the hospital going, help, I'm having a heart attack. And in the end, they were just going, you're grieving, your heart is broken. And that is why, you've got to start breathing exercises. I went to therapy.
Very good.
That therapy was amazing. And as you say, when I started talking to people with their same stories, as you say, their loss of pets, from parents to friends to, in the past, it's amazing what the community you gain. from all.
Absolutely. I've gained some beautiful friends,
Yeah.
sisters, and just beautiful friends all around the globe, just sharing, my story, and not necessarily all losses. Some of them was, in 2024, I was blessed with a new grandchild. And so I began sharing a different story. So as I began to
Yeah.
travel, I would say, I have a grandson. They said, oh my gosh, I have a grandchild. And we would talk about our stories and what it was like, becoming a grandparent.
You
And
spin
so
it to the positive.
yes, so we all have a story to share. And if you listen, you'll be able to, gain some advice or some knowledge. And so it's important. I always say that's why God gave us 2 ears and only one mouth, so that we can listen. Because if you listen, you can learn from someone else.
I agree. I agree 100%. You're saying everything that I do and say. Literally. So you've then gained this website. Okay. You're doing Zoom every week. Is that right? Or every other week?
We're doing it every other week, and we have people. We had some friends on from Thailand. We had individuals from different parts of the United States of America, so not all clustered in one location.
Yeah.
And so you reached out to me through TikTok, and you are in the UK. And I'm so grateful that we get to spread our message abroad for what we do. I'm so honored. I never knew that this heartbreak that I had would turn into something that would help so many people. I've seen individuals get up, they went on to college, they've graduated, they've raised their children, and I mean, they've suffered major. They're traveling, they're doing things, and that's the goal, is to how can we rise from the devastation, because it's all devastating. Your mother, your losses, that's devastating, but how can we rise to an area of elevation?
Yes.
And we do it by sharing our stories, listening, being comforting, love, empathy, compassion, kindness, and respect, and listening. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I learned so much, because when my spouse passed, for like 5 months, I didn't have a word that I could say. I couldn't speak. I did not have the words. But I heard some great messages and words of encouragement that began to uplift me during that time. And one thing about grief, we all deal with it differently. No one grieves the same, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. Just be patient with yourself, because everyone is different. And I think I wanted it to just end. I want this crying to stop. I'm tired of crying, but you have to grieve. Some people have not grieved childhood losses. They've not grieved relationships that they've had. And so it's like looking inward and asking yourself this question: what is my truth? What am I? Am I angry? Because there are 7 stages of grief. You could still be in shock, but the final step or stage is acceptance. And so we're dealing with shock, anger, denial, all of these things, bargaining. Yeah. Well, if he were here, things would be this. We're blaming ourselves. But when you get to the final stage of acceptance, you have peace in your heart that, you know what? It's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah. I that's just amazing. I do agree with you 100% there. And I just love the fact that you're meeting everybody around the world. And then TikTok, is that new? You've been going for how long?
6 years. And it started with when Robert first passed away. I was traveling extensively, but I was running. The grief had me running away, and I couldn't see people or have a conversation. I was ashamed. I wanted to hide. I wanted to run. And he passed away of cancer, but I just felt like I didn't understand. It's like everything in my life was going good, and I didn't understand. But in life, things happen to people. And another thing is, sometimes we say, I'm the only one. Yeah. We're not the only one. Someone else is going through. Someone else has a different situation. You are not alone. You're not the only one. And so by me sharing, people said, the first woman I met while traveling, I was on the plane and I was crying. My husband passed, and she just started bawling. And I said, did your husband pass? She said, my cat passed away. And, that was her only That was her friend. That
Oh,
was the
yeah,
only animal. She didn't have a husband. She didn't have children. And
yeah.
at that time, it's like, I was like, is this lady serious? I couldn't, like, no way she's comparing her cat to my husband. But then God blessed me with empathy.
Yeah,
Empathy is when you place yourself in the position of someone else. And when I saw that her tears were genuine and she was just as hurt as I was, it's not that we compare losses. It all hurts and it's all loss.
that's
But
right.
we just have to heal. You know,
That's
I did a grief on Zoom, a grief meeting, and we talked about unpacking the grief. And so a lot of times we carry around these super large backpacks with anger and
good.
bitterness and all of these things. But if you never unpack that grief, you've got to open it up and see what it is. Then it's like, where is the healing? When is it going to come? And I want to move forward, not that you forget. And I think that's where sometimes the disconnect is. People may feel that I'm going to forget him or her. I'm going to forget about mom. No, they're always in our heart.
Always. Yeah,
Always. We carry them with us every single day.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. And how old are your children?
So now they are all adults. But when my husband first passed, my daughter was like 15 years old. And then
Okay.
my son was 18. Now my daughter is 21. My son is 24. And I have a son that's soon to be 30. And I am so proud of them. You know, they're making the steps. And like I share with anyone, grief work is work. And so if you say, I don't want to deal with it, I don't want, that's okay, because it's going to sit right there on that shelf.
Yeah.
And when you're ready to come out and deal with it, it's not going anywhere. So sometimes we meet people, they said, oh my gosh, it's been 20 years since my mother passed, and they're just now grieving mother.
Yeah.
Because we just kept pushing it. I have to raise the children. I have to go to the parent teacher conference. I have to do this. I have to, and we replace all of that with movement. I've got to stay busy, but all the while, grief is like right here on your shoulder. Whenever you're ready to deal with this, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to, at some
Thankfully, I
point,
had therapy.
yeah, because I was running. I'm on Southwest Airlines. I'm traveling abroad. I'm doing American Airlines stuff, and still was so lost with the T. Devastated. And then one day when I came home, with still had the tags fresh on the suitcase, it's like the Lord just spoke to my heart. You know, what is your truth? Deal with it. Look at it. Face it. And I just encourage anyone, you want to get there, it's going to hurt. That's why I say grief work is work. It's not going to feel good, because there may be some memories associated that they just don't make you feel good. Maybe that person didn't treat you the best. Maybe you dealt with some childhood issues and you didn't have the best relationship, and it's all of that. But I promise, once you get through all that ugly, then the beauty of it, which is gratitude
Yeah, yeah.
and love. Like now I'm totally at acceptance. I have a peace, but I once didn't have peace.
That's great.
Because I wanted to know why.
Yeah,
Why my husband? Why not? I mean, people, we're all going to leave here someday. Some just leave here sooner than others.
I get it. I totally understand there. Now going into the big M, menopause.
Yes.
How did you get on?
Well, I'm experiencing it now. And so it's like the hot flashes, and I'm just really entering my era of menopause. So if any individuals out there, you know, you're watching, you've got some tips to share. You know, I've changed my diet. This year I became a vegetarian, and I'm really trying to watch what I eat and what I consume in my body. I'm exercising more. I'm just paying attention to my inner self. I'm journaling, I'm writing, And all of those things help me in this next chapter of life as an empty nester.
Yes.
I've been working on a book. I've written my first children's book. I am an author,
Tell
but
me,
I've
tell me,
written my
tell me, tell
first children's
me.
book, which will be available in about 2 months because I'm working with my
Right.
illustrator, and it's called My First Grandson. And it's a beautiful book of my account when I first met my grandchild. And just, I tell that story of my eyes when I first laid eyes on him. So, menopause, yes, but don't let it get you down.
Nah, you're doing all the right things. You're doing all the right things to get through it. You'll be
Yes,
fine. So
absolutely.
tell me exactly how you became to start the book. How
How
did
did I
you
start?
think, you know what, I'm going to write a book?
Well, I've written several books before, so I am an author, but never a children's author.
Yeah.
And so I did not go into it like, oh, I'm going to write a book about my grandson. So we were out having lunch, my daughter in law, my grandson, and myself. And as she was outside taking a phone call, I just I'm holding my grandson, and in my phone, I'm just typing notes about how he makes me feel. And the account when I first held him, I first burped him, I first changed him. And then when I realized I had so many notes, I was like, this seems like a children's book that maybe preschool, first grade, second grade teachers can read, parents can read to their children, grandparents. It's a beautiful account of a grandmother's love and the account of when I first had laid eyes on my grandson. And so I will continue to write children's stories. We're doing a family vacation where my grandson, who we call Robbie, we're going to the beach this summer. So the next book will be Robbie Goes to the Beach.
Oh, I love that.
And as he continues to grow, I'll continue to write
the books
story.
will grow.
Yes, and then one day maybe he's 4 or 5 and he sees what grandmother is doing. I would love for him to co-write, and then he can actually one day transition him into one day becoming an
Oh
author.
my God, that's amazing. I
Yeah,
love that.
because it's his story, just like lending our shared
Yes.
stories. Like you have a podcast, your journey. How did you get here? Some people have thought about it for years and they don't know how, but somehow, even though you said I was going through this in my 40s, well, something in your life shifted to where you are contacting people and inviting them. Thank you very much. And you're doing the things that you desire to do. And I think that's the great part about when we turn 50 plus. It's like you're doing the things now that you want to do.
Relatable.
Yes.
With everybody sort of like over 50, we seem to have the same sort of attitude, as in, I'm not bothered about what you say to me anymore. If it's nasty, that's a you problem, not a me problem. You carry on. You carry on.
That's right.
It doesn't bother me. Or, things about being silly, or, as I always say, like dancing and like in the street or in the supermarket. I don't care anymore. If I'm with my daughter or husband and I start going, woo, like that, I don't care. I don't
That's
care.
right. We don't care. We don't.
No. I said to my son the other day, we were in a restaurant and I was going, woohoo, happy birthday. And he was going, stop it. And I was going, why? And I said, you're never going to meet these people again. So why stop it?
That's right. That's right.
People can't you're never going to meet them again.
That's right. My therapist, she once told me, when I was dealing with, we got into deeper part of the therapy, so it just wasn't grief related or grief focused, and it was a part that in my life where I cared at one time what people thought of me and all and she was like, why do you care? She said, those people don't even know, tomorrow they won't even know what shirt you had on, they won't even know the color pants that you wore. I said, really? She said, no one is looking at you like people have their own life that they have to deal with.
Yes.
Yet alone, we think, I think when I'm walking into a room, oh, look at her. Wow, what is she? Some people could care less.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And we
agree.
just have to get to that place. I think just like you and I, you just get to that place.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I hear it all the time now. I hear it all the time. And every sort of like interview with the podcast I get, everybody's sort of saying the same in this sort of era, and I love that. Just like be yourself. It
Be
doesn't
your,
matter. Be yourself. But I
yeah.
want to hear more about previous books that you've written then. Tell me about all of those. So tell people where we can find them.
All right. Well, I think the books that I once published, I don't know if they're still available on Amazon. They might, but I once published a book called Leading Ladies, where it was a book compiled of 50 stories of women, and they were just sharing their stories, successful women, powerful women. I did that book in 2013. And then I helped publish a book for my daughter. She wrote a book when she was 10 called Stop Bullying. And she was 10 years old. And so now that's on
Fantastic.
Amazon. I published that. And so I did another book, I'm a Miracle. God blessed me to, after giving birth to my daughter, I had suffered some challenges health wise, but God
Okay.
healed me from all of that. And so and also I published magazines and things like that. Once upon a time, now this was before the grief hit, I was like this go-getter and I did all of these things. But when the grief came, I couldn't do anything. I stopped, I dropped everything. And I just feel God's grace now. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
I can take notes. I can write. I went back to school, worked on my master's degree.
Have
So it's
you?
like I'm better, and I'm doing the things that I want to do.
Yes, yeah.
And it
what is
feels
this
natural.
degree? What
It
is that
doesn't feel
in?
forced. It doesn't feel forced. It just feels like I'm doing things the way that I want to do them,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't look like that to someone else, because I was like very high strung individual, a community figure. I had a television show, a podcast, I had a radio
Did
show.
you? Tell me
I
about
did.
all that.
So I did a television show out of Nashville for 10 years. This was prior to my husband's passing. I had my
Okay.
very own radio show, Locally Wise. I would cover red carpet events at award shows, and I was like
Yeah.
that woman doing it. But
Yeah.
one thing about loss, it affects us in different ways. And I just didn't, it's like that was
Just interesting.
that was a former chapter of Treva. But now this is the version that you get now. I thank God I was able to do all those things, and I may continue. I didn't say that part is over. I'm
Never say
traveling.
never.
I'm seeing the world. I've never done that before. So I'm traveling to different countries, from the DR to Hawaii to Thailand to
Come
Korea.
to England.
I'm going to have to
I'll
come.
show
I'm
you
going to
around London.
Yay! I would definitely thank you for the invitation. I would
Do
love that. And that's the chapter. And I believe I'll write books from all of my travels as I travel the world and give people that experience, to let them know that yes, loss can happen. But I just want people to know, if you don't know anything else, you can rise. You
Yes.
can get up. I don't want you to stay there. I said I struggled on the ground saying, how do I get up from here? I'm devastated.
Yeah.
How do I get up? And so I look at the woman before the loss, and yes, she was a very accomplished woman. She's an author, she's a speaker, she would go and do all of these things. But then sometimes you can be up one day and the next day you just lose everything.
Yes.
And so what do? Your mind doesn't even work the same, because you're like, I'm trying to pick up all these screws that have dropped to the ground, and I can't even put anything together. And that's what people don't understand. So when people who know me from past, they're like, I don't know how you just let all that go, or why did you? It was the loss. That's how I experienced it. And I do apologize. Like I said, I don't apologize. We go through it our own way, but I feel that in this new chapter is God's grace, his love, his forgiveness, more empathy, more kindness. And I'm learning more about myself and being comfortable in the skin that I'm in, because when Robert had passed away, a great deal that I suffered was identity loss. You're married for so many years, you're Mrs.
Yeah.
So now I don't know. I be in the bed. I don't know who I am. I didn't know. I don't know who I am with the R. I don't know who I am. So
Yeah.
I've been on a journey to find me. And
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand. Yeah. But I was thinking like your next stage with the TikTok, why don't you do a travel blog?
I never thought about that. One, I
Traveling to
need
all these countries, do a travel blog. We watch them all the time. They're fantastic on YouTube.
to learn about them more. I will research, but I think I'm ready. At that time of traveling, I wasn't really ready. It was more tears but now I'm at a place where I am. So I have to look into that. And I thank you for that suggestion. That's a great
No
idea.
problem. It's a fantastic thing. Yeah, look into it.
Yeah,
Have a
because I
look
did
at all
my
the
first
people on
solo.
YouTube.
Yeah, I did my first solo trip in January, this past
Right.
January. I always wanted to go to do a solo travel trip, and I went to Mexico
Fantastic.
alone, and
Yeah,
had a wonderful time. I never thought that I would be even
you
capable.
have the strength.
Yeah, at first, and it's like small steps. At first, it was like I can't even go out to eat by myself.
Yeah,
During the long, I can't sit in a restaurant alone. But
yes.
now I go to restaurants. I'll take myself to the movies. I travel. I do.
Great.
Listen, I'm living life, and I'm enjoying the
Yeah,
state that I'm in. And I just wish that for everyone. Like I see you, not knowing your all of your story, but to see you're dressed beautiful, you look amazing, you have your own podcast, and it's just like we are here, whatever that looks like for individuals. Like
yes,
I can't compare where I am to someone else. You may be
I
on the red
understand.
carpet for doing films and movies and a Hollywood star. I'm not there. I'm just doing me.
Yes, and I love that.
Yeah.
Love that about you.
Yeah. And I recently took swimming lessons. I never knew how to swim. So at age
Right.
54, I decided, you know what? Because we have more time behind us than in front of
Yeah,
us. So think of things that you've always wanted to do. Take a painting class, a sewing class, knit a sweater, learn to try a new hairstyle.
yeah,
Don't do it afraid. And I say that because a lot of times we won't do a particular thing because we are afraid. So
yeah,
if fear is preventing you, do it afraid.
yeah.
Just do it. I said, I have a friend who's now in her 60s. She was inspired by my story. She's a widow. She's now taking swim lessons.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, fantastic. I love that as well. I
And
always,
now I can
yeah.
swim. I can swim now. I learned.
Hey, I love that. But I say the same. Do it. Do something new. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, learn a line dance.
we seem to say a lot of things the same. We
I
believe
love it.
the same things. I love that.
Yeah,
Come
do it.
to UK.
I'm ready. That will be my
Come and see
next.
Big Ben, the palace, everything.
Oh, I am so excited. I will definitely put
I
that on
mean
my
it.
list.
I
I
truly
know.
mean
I've
it.
got some really big trips this year, so I would love, but you never know. Hey, it's nothing but to take a flight.
Eventually,
I could take a flight from where I am, and you never know. I may just come over there. We'll see what
yeah, do
happens.
it. Just eventually, when you can, we'll show you around. We've got space in the house. You can have your own room.
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
coming. I'm
do it
coming.
eventually when you can. Do it.
Yes. And if you're ever in the States, you come on.
Love
I
it.
got, I got you.
I love it. Well, look, it's been so nice to have you on the show.
Oh, I have enjoyed this time. It's the best thing I've done all day. I'm
We've
thankful.
got to keep in touch,
Please.
speak to each other regularly, even if I come onto Zoom, and I will talk to you about, like, I will be able to relate.
I would love for you to come on. I would love to invite you when we have
Yes,
our next loss on Zoom. I'll send you the information
okay.
and feel free to say hello and we can talk about this interview that you conducted with me. And where will it be? How can we find it? because I want to put it on our website.
So,
I want to put it on my pages.
Great. And it will be audio. It will be on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, everywhere. So YouTube, it'll be video. Our TikToks, what I do is I edit all the way down to make them small. Okay, so you can put it onto your TikTok. I put it onto my TikTok, but I do not put it anywhere until you see it and approve it.
Oh, and how long have you had your podcast?
So it's all new. So about a month.
Oh my gosh, you are doing an excellent job. You're so professional. I mean, I love the setup. Like, you are on your way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm a baby. I'm all new to it.
I can't tell.
I had a TikTok actually for weight loss surgery because I did weight loss surgery and I lost 11 stone, but I've still got 8 stone to go. But
yes.
So I've still got a lot to go.
But congratulations on your weight loss journey.
Thank you. So I did have a TikTok for that and to introduce everybody to that, and I had a lot of people. And so I want to build this community as well for over 50. I've built that community with the weight loss surgery, and I'm still doing that weight loss surgery TikTok. But yes, I just want to build this community now, having relations with over 50, menopause, everything, talking to everybody about everything over 50. I've met traveling, I've met like authors like yourself and other authors, and I just find it all amazing. I love it. Yeah, adults, ADHD in adults. I've got it all. I mean, that in itself is an amazing story. Her name's Laurie, Lady P. Anybody, ADHD in adults, that's so hard to discover, and she's done it.
Oh, bless. That's a blessing.
It makes others understand maybe that, actually, I may have ADHD. So
yes.
Like that. And I just think today, why can't people suddenly write a book? Why can't people, not AI?
That's right.
Yeah, their own story, their own like children's book, or as I say, their own story, anything. Do it. Whether you want to learn to swim, do it.
Learn to do it. Do it. That's right. Do it. And so we talk about too, and I'll close with this, self-care is so important. So let me ask you this question. What do you do? How do you self-care? What does that look like for you?
Well, it's very hard at the moment because I'm a carer for my husband and my 92-year-old mum, plus my son and my daughters. So it's very, very hard. However, I have to take time for myself. And do you know what it is? My podcasts and my TikTok. It's a distraction.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's why I say, how do you? And just that bit that you shared will help so many people that listen to this podcast.
It does. But you know what? I have to get dressed. I have to have a shower. I have to put my makeup on. I have to do my hair.
Looks good.
If I hadn't had TikTok, if I didn't take TikTok and the video and the podcast, I'd be in my pajamas all day.
Well, thank God. Yes, you're doing it. So that's inspiration alone. Like the blessing comes from the shared stories. Yes, I've shared my story, but you've shared how you self-care. You've shared that you've gone through some tough times. You shared, hey, I took a shower. I got dressed. I put makeup. I did my hair. It is.
Sometimes that's a lot.
Oh, it is. And you have a lot going on. With all of that going on that I didn't know, all I see is a beautiful woman over 50 who's doing her thing. I don't know about the husband, the mother, the this, the cat, I don't know, but you're carrying it so well. And that's why I say people never know what you're going through. So remember this, for those people who are watching, self-care is the best care. And you have to think about it. How do I incorporate self-care into my life? Whether it's a walk in the park, whether it's I'm going to eat a bowl of ice cream and enjoy and put my feet up, whatever that is. So I'm going to wash my hair. I know a young lady, she just likes to wash her hair. Okay, that's self-care.
It is.
Because that's something that you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Go and take a cup of tea or coffee into your bedroom if you have to, just to be alone. Just to be alone. But it's self-care.
I love that. It sounds like you're doing a wonderful job at self-care.
Oh, thank you, darling. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely welcome. A huge thank you to Treva for sharing her journey and incredible work. Visit loss-events.org to learn more about her grief support platform. Follow her on TikTok to join her vibrant Women Over 50 community. Look out for the children's book, Heartfelt Stories for Little Readers with Big Feelings. Treva, thank you for being such a delight. You must keep in touch, my love. To all listening, it's never too late to bloom, to begin again, and to make your story matter.